When I think about North Korea, what first comes to my mind is a mist over the calm and majestic surface of the Taedong River near Pyongyang. Sometimes I wonder whether words still have the power they once used to have. In the past, a beautiful poem, a confession, or a declaration of love were capable of changing one's entire life, and sometimes even the destiny of a nation. But is this still the case in this time and age? As a writer, I often feel futility, even despair. Still, as an internationalist, I refuse to succumb to pessimism, and I try to use words as my weapons, again and again. I have already said a lot about North Korea. I have spoken and shown images. I have spoken about the unimaginable pain this country has had to endure. I have spoken broadly about its tremendous gesture of helping to liberate and then to educate so many parts of the world, including the enormous and devastated continent of Africa. Still, the propaganda against the people of DPRK rules. Let me try again. Let me try again and again and again. North Korea is a beautiful country inhabited by human beings with blood circulating through their veins. Despite what you are directly and indirectly told, these people feel pain and they are capable of experiencing great joy. Like others, they often dream, fall in love, and suffer when being insulted or betrayed or abandoned. They laugh and cry, they hold hands, get angry, even desperate. They have great hopes for a better life, and they work very hard trying to build their future. But this is North Korea, as the West wants it to be perceived. An evil land of robots, or at least of fully dehumanized beings. The city of Pyongyang. Who really sees the reality? The West is hiding beauty of North Korea, especially its tremendous achievements despite brutal embargo and sanctions. North Korea feels that it has to show how strong it is, how ready to defend itself against the imperialist attacks. But let us drive around Pyongyang, this beautiful modern city that literally rose some 6 decades ago from rubble, flattened by the war. Just look, don't judge. Theaters and museums, wide avenues, ecological trolleybuses and trams, double-decker buses, wide sidewalks, parks and public spaces. Look closely. No slums, no filth, no crime.
Department store.
This is the Kimmel Square, the main center.
Oh, okay. This is the center. And that's the stadium.
This city, those cities, the hands of North Korean people created it all. Despite constant attempts of the West to break this country, to break its spirit, and pride. Look closely again. All these buildings are public. Apartments in them are free for the people. There are no rents and no electricity or water bills, and no tickets for the public transportation. Salaries are low, even symbolic, but almost everything is free for the citizens. North Korea is a communist country. Its system is totally different, totally unique. It is not about it being good or bad, but simply different. And it should be, it has to be respected. Before terrible things happen, before there is a war and the West tries to ruin this country, let's look at the faces of the ordinary people of North Korea. According to the Western propaganda gospel, North Koreans are supposed to look as if they are lacking all basic emotions and individuality, staring forward without seeing much, unable to feel pain, compassion, or love. We are not supposed to see the truth, the reality. We are supposed to be obedient and blind, judgmental. It is the West that is blind. It is not the North Korea. For more than 60 years, the West attacks, intimidates, and threatens North Korea for being communist, for helping to liberate Africa and other colonized parts of the world, or for simply being different. Millions of people already died. Lives of further millions of North Korean citizens were already terribly affected by this confrontation provoked in Washington, London, Tokyo, and Seoul. From these deadly US air bases in Okinawa, Japan, the attack could start against North Korea, and one day possibly even against China. Four-lane highway from the capital to the border, or call it DMZ, the demilitarized zone with South Korea. The highway is always empty. The frontier is the most fortified and deadly on earth.
That is the military demarcation lines, which is 50 50 centimeters wide and 10 centimeters high.
And you said it was done by the American
Yeah, done by
imperialists.
the American and it's South Korean puppets.
Our side guards, you know, and the other is guarded by the U.S. part.
Yes,
The other part.
I know. There are South Koreans in these blue uniforms
Yeah.
from the other side.
And 1 hour drive from the border, Sinchon. There are some of the most horrid monuments in the world, monuments to the Western atrocities against the people of North Korea. The US forces and its allies were systematically murdering and torturing Korean people. 4.6 million died. Here, people never forget.
They entered in 1950, 25th June, and the war ended 3 years later.
They're torturing her.
Yeah, torturing her.
Who is she?
She's a teacher.
Why do they torture her?
We don't have explained.
Is it her?
Hear
세
her,
사람 동생을 5분
No,
채로
no.
상매당했습니다.
이대자신가? 이 유자입니까?
예.
Yeah, it's her.
다음 원심을 말씀했습니다.
Did she die? Did she survive?
She's dead. She's captured and really fought strongly till the last hour.
So she died.
She died in the end. She's in this organization of Minchong. It's like a youth organization, and she just say the slogans: "Long live our General Kim Il-sung," and "Long live the Workers' Party of Korea" before she dies.
Are these Americans?
They're just showing that they are like wolves. We
Yes.
call them like, yeah. Yeah, of course they are Americans. She's called Yang Myung.
Did they rape many women? Did they torture many women?
Yeah, especially women and children. I mean, countless.
The world realizes what a terrible price you paid and owes you a great debt.
전쟁이 우리에게 가져다 준 국가는 조선인민들이 더욱더 잘 알다시피 참혹한 것입니다.
Even the Encyclopedia Britannica, our basic reference book for information, tells us that 4,600,000 Koreans died as a direct result of U.S. armed aggression in the 3 years 1950 to 1953.
여러 도서들을 통해서도 알 수 있겠지만 미국에 의하여 강요된 지난 조선전쟁 시기 3년 기간 조선인민은 460만 명이라는 많은 사람들이 생명을 앗아갔습니다.
War is always hell.
전쟁은 언제나 지옥과 같은 것입니다.
I must comment briefly on the dangerous future that we face. It's imperative that we recognize that we can destroy life on this beautiful planet with the arms we now have.
Little wonder that traumatized North Korea puts great emphasis on its defense. In the south, right near the border, lies a beautiful ancient city of Kaesong, a World Heritage Site inscribed by UNESCO, with its trees, stone bridges and gates. One afternoon I spotted a girl, tiny, with a big ribbon in her hair. She was wearing white shoes. It was sunset. Her mother, a simple but beautiful lady, was talking to her. It was so obvious how much she loved and cherished her daughter. There was so much tenderness, so much serenity between these two human beings. I saw a couple. He was wearing a formal suit, she was dressed in a wedding gown. Then I noticed that large black sunglasses were hiding a large part of the man's face. He was blind. Most likely he was badly burned behind the dark spectacles. His future wife was young and she was attractive. She was happy. She kept chatting, laughing cheerfully. I was stunned. In the West, people have been betraying each other, abandoning one another over the tiniest inconveniences or doubts for the most egotistic reasons. And here, a young, attractive woman was joining happily her badly injured man so they could walk together, side by side, for the rest of their life journey. I visited South Korea on many occasions. There was so much hate against the North from the official propaganda. Entire huge war museums were erected. Militaristic statues. There are even wedding chapels in the propaganda institutions. In the South, the propaganda is everywhere, so it is in the West. Yet only North Korean propaganda is discussed in North America, Europe, and their client states. But look at this North Korean propaganda. It appears to be much more fun than what is coming from the South. I saw a lot of North Korea after those few hours in the park. I saw bunkers and barbed wires at the DMZ, but I also saw beautiful arts. I met and discussed philosophy and how the West tries to dehumanize its enemies with Yang Yong-sop, the Vice President of the Standing Committee of the Supreme People's Committee. I discussed philosophy and existentialism with the great theologian and philosopher John Cobb on board a bus that was taking us from Pyongyang to the borderline. There were big moments during the trip, great celebrations all around me. There were elaborate performances and speeches, marches and music, yet nothing touched me so deeply as those moments in a park. There, I observed enormous tenderness given to a child by her mother. That is North Korea, which I have been privileged enough to have observed with my own eyes. That is North Korea, which the manager, the boss of the Western capitalist world wants to take care of, which means to destroy. And it is North Korea where I realized, as on so many other occasions, in so many countries, that there is still so much love that resides on this earth, and that no barbarity, no cruelty would ever be able to defeat. At the end of my visit, at the roller skating rink, I spotted a cute girl clinging to her mother. She exchanged grimaces with me, and then she began slowly skating away, waving goodbye. Her goodbye was, "See you again." And I thought, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I want to do something to protect her, to warn the world that she is there, alive. And so I have made this film, and I dedicated it to her, to a girl from the skating rink in the beautiful city of Pyongyang.